And you just dropped a album. Talk
Yes, sir.
about it, man. How's the album been doing? What's the
Yeah, man.
feedback?
Streaming wise is my best album yet. I mean, across the board, it's doing like 40,000 streams a day, which is fucking dope. Which like at 300, I don't know the math on that, but it's gonna be over 10 million streams in a year, which is, once again, it's like, me and you, we both have these massive dreams. Anyone has a dream, obviously. You try to make it realistic, but you also don't want to, shoot yourself in the foot and be like, oh, I should have, went for more. But if you do the math on 10 million streams in a year, that's like, this, you can make 50, 60 bands off of one project, which is a dream of mine from years ago.
Yeah.
Once, obviously, I want to have a record that's doing 100 million streams in a year, and, and it'll hit, but like when you really break it down, like how cool it is to own 80, 90, 100% of yourself and put out music and
Right.
fucking be able to make 40 bands, 50 bands in 1 year off of something you did in your, I recorded the whole shit in my crib during a quarantine. So
Right.
like, I'm saying this out loud again to kind of justify myself, not my insecurities about like, where I am in my career. Everyone gets there, has those days, you know it as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, I know you talked about, the Beat Stars, how, I made 100K, but I wasn't as personable and close with the artists. And, you really want to get back in touch with yourself and artists and hand-to-hand contact and shit like that. And I'm kind of, it's that same shit I'm talking about where it's like, okay, well, I'm doing so well, but what does it mean? And vice versa. Okay, I want to be here, but what is that? You know what I mean? You start really juggling, your goals and your visions and your ideologies in your mind. But it's really cool to realize where I am now is literally a place that I dreamed of a year ago. So I'm trying to kind of balance, basking in the glory, but also not, missing out on an opportunity because I'm so excited where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. How long did the album take you to record and write and mix and do all of that? Was it like,
It was like a few months. It was like I was working on it like a little bit before quarantine, so I would say like maybe February or March.
and were you were you planning on touring, obviously,
So
after
no,
that
so
album?
my tour in March was supposed to be off my last album, which to me was
Uh,
my shittiest album, worst produced, worst mixed, worst mastered, and I'm kind of grateful it worked out this way because, oh my bad, I just ate. So fucking, I'm kind of grateful it worked out that way because now my audience, I have to push my Europe shit back again and again and again. I don't know when it's gonna be, but I mean, it's my best project yet. This one, I think I could perform the shit front to back, with the exception of maybe one or two songs,
Wait, why
and
why do you say your last album was your worst? Was that the feedback you got, or is that how you feel
Uh,
about it?
yeah. So my fans are nice, bro. To the point where like they won't tell me if shit is trash. They'll just be like, waiting for the next one. Like shit like that. So, I kind of got like that feedback, and also from a streaming standpoint, like real music prevails. Me and you both know that. You know what I mean? Like as long as you have somewhat of an audience, like obviously, like even if you have the best record and you have zero fan base, like you might not hit. But if you have somewhat of something bubbling, real music will fucking prevail. Even if you're on the decline, or even if you're, if fucking, if, with all due respect, if Mike Jones or Lil Flip or one of these guys dropped a banger tomorrow, we'd hear about it because,
Yeah.
he's got a name, and if it's a fucking undeniable classic, we're going to hear
Yeah.
about it. That's my point. So, yeah, it was one of those things where, I mean, just like I said, that my vision wasn't set in stone. It was more of like a mixtape in my eyes looking back on it. And I
Yeah.
wish I wish I almost put it across as that, with like that piff and just threw it out and like said whatever happens happens. But yeah, the mixing was off, the mastering was totally off, the production was totally off. I did my part, but like, like I said, I didn't even have a clear cut vision. And then, like I said, the streams, my new album outstreamed my last album in 3 weeks. My new album already outstreamed my last album from a year, bro. It's like it took a year to hit 1.5 million on Spotify or some shit. I'm almost at 2 million on my new album in fucking 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. So once again, it's undeniable. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, like I said, my fans weren't assholes about it, but like the stream, they never went back to stream it again. I could see it, I could see the back end, and and everybody else was basically, like I said, right after that, a month later, like, when's your next album getting here? If you put out an undeniable, people aren't gonna bother you for the next album. You know what I mean?
Did you feel that when you right before you were about to put out your last album, like, damn, I don't 100% feel confident about this project, but I'm gonna throw it out anyway because
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think it was one of
you
those things.
you move fast, bro. Like that's one thing I know about you is like you like to like just finish one thing and then move on to the next thing, and like you're always
Yeah,
moving.
yeah. Even if it's not good enough, because I know so many artists and people that are perfectionists, and they end up dropping 2 songs a year.
Right.
And what happens if one of those songs don't hit? Okay, you got one record. You know, you better hope that record is out of here. You better hope that record you can eat off that. So I'm kind of in this balance, you know, always constantly of quality and quantity. You know, I won't say any names. There's a couple guys I have in my head that just fucking throw out records every single week, every day. They throw out 3 albums a year. You know, they get fucking 750 features and they fucking put it all out and do whatever the fuck. You know, it's a numbers game to people.
Yeah.
Me, I'm somewhere in between where it's like, you know, I'm not an idiot. I realize how, you know, we're in the golden era of streaming. You know, obviously, if you put out more, you make more, regardless if it's good or not. You know, if you're bubbling, you could do it. But I'm also, you know, in that mindset of, you know, I still want to be a legend. I'm not doing it for the sake of becoming a legend, but I still have this kid dream of like, you know, I want to be mentioned with the greats, and I still have that chip on my shoulder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, I've never put out a project more than once a year. So that's something that I'll never, ever do. I'll only put out one project. So my fans know how serious it is. They know the seriousness of like, okay, you know, we're approaching that 10th month. We know Rez must be up to something. You know what I mean? You know, and I'll put out a few singles here and there and throwaways and remixes and pranks and shit like that to keep people busy. But the shit always leads up to this album. You know what I mean? So.
Right. No, I feel you.